Department of Homeland Security.
I just turned the mic
State.
on. Can you hear us?
To get us declared. For, to, for that storm, get 75% of that back.
Oh, okay, so that's quite a deal.
They're working.
Okay,
Okay,
we need,
thank you.
we need this. So
Goodbye.
we gave them that, we met the threshold, right? Oh, well, if Niagara County meets their snow threshold, you'll be declared. They did. Oh, no, we need this. Now we need that, you know, they
Yeah.
keep changing
Ah,
the plan.
yeah.
Yeah, so Justin Niederhoff was today at the meeting.
Did he's the one that took Dale's place?
I'm sorry?
Did he take
Yes.
Dale
Yeah.
Banker's place?
He's very frustrated along with Niagara County. They're calling the same thing with them. Anyway,
So is there a set amount of time that we have to have the roads cleared by?
hey, what?
Set amount of time we have to have the roads cleared by or anything? Cause I'm thinking, well, we got our loader,
That's
but
what
it's
we
gonna
can do,
it's gonna
right,
take
you know?
3 times as
I mean,
long without 2 loaders. So
we spent, well, if you look at my sheet that I sent to Beth, the Homeland Security. I had $20, like just loader things. And that's just to make the hole through, so that. And then if we don't go through with the loaders, the other loaders will get it back. Can't push it back that far. So. I made the call, you know.
Yep.
I think we
But
need
we're
to
supposed to be
do-
reimbursed, so I mean.
I hope so. Shelby had the same situation. They had 3 loaders from somewhere. 1 or 2 were some panics and the others from Shelby first off.
I just, this got unplugged.
That was one of the.
Okay. So we can get going here, cause I gotta stop at 6:50 so I can shut this system down and then reboot it again for the board meeting at 7. So, for tonight, for us to discuss, and there's 2 of them that we have to discuss prior to the board meeting. Before I get to that, for you to start thinking about in the back of your mind, I was one of, I don't know how many people or who they are, but I was one person that was asked to meet with Congresswoman Tenney this coming Monday. Now, remember, she's a federal government official, not a state government official. But we will have a question and answer period. I've got some questions jotted down. Between now and Friday, if anybody thinks of a question that they would like to have asked of her, I will try very hard to get not just my question, but your question asked as well. I don't know how many people will be there. So I have no idea how many people will be asking questions or if they even will have questions. So if you have any, please let me know. I mean, one of them, my questions that I have is restructuring the Medicaid and Medicare because of payments like to ambulance services and so on. So if you think of anything, please send it to me, please, by Friday night. And, no, we're meeting on Monday. I'll take it over the weekend as well. But I got a meeting Monday morning, and this is a luncheon meeting with Tenney, Congresswoman Tenney, on Monday. Okay, wanted to get that out of the way. Also, we've had a couple calls. Some people noticed on their tax bill in the upper right-hand corner, it says, and there's a small, one sentence, it says 90% of your Orleans County tax bill goes to fund 9 mandated New York State programs. That's county tax bill, not Berry tax bill. So I have been, in case somebody calls you about it, I've been referring it to either Jack Welch's office or Kim DeFrank's office. So if anybody contacts you about that sentence, if others notice and they call you, they're the county people that handle the money. So I would refer them whoever calls you to either Jack Welch or Kim DeFrank at the county office building. Okay, I'm gonna let you know also, something that's bugged me for a few years, and I was in a discussion with a couple of other supervisors, and then we had a meeting last week, and that has to do with the county sales tax distribution. It's the same amount. We've been receiving the same amount from the county every year for over 20 years. 1996, it was set up that the municipalities received 14% of the taxes that the county collected. At this time, in 2022, they shared 6% of the taxes that came in. So we're looking at this, so we're gonna come up, what we would like to do is that every municipality, that's the 4 villages and the 10 towns, and we're gonna be talking about this, but for 2024, we wanna come up with a resolution that all municipalities will pass, and we will submit and say, here, the 14 municipalities in this county would like an increase in the amount of taxes that are given to the municipalities. They got a number of projects this year where they're paying cash for.
Well, that, and why did it go down from 96 from 14%?
Because it was that same amount of money, $1,366,671. That was the amount of money set up in 1996 at 14%.
And they kept it the same.
And they just kept the dollar amount the same every single year.
Well, that's fuzzy math right there.
Well, that's what we want to, in a nice way, talk about this. We don't want to, we're not looking for a big arm and a leg, but we'd like to go back to that 14%.
Was it
Yeah.
14% all set up by every municipality in every town back then?
Back then, it was set up by then the county legislator. I can't think of her name off the top of my head right now, and I didn't write it down on my notes. Yes,
Oh, it was Marcia?
she set up, she created this at that time. She felt that the municipality should share in the tax.
And who came up with the idea, no, let's give them less?
They didn't give them less,
didn't
they
give
just
them
said
less.
keep it the
They
same
gave them
number.
less percentage though.
But they
It's been a
paid the same
smaller
number.
percentage.
What if it was set up a percentage basis that
okay.
it should be taxed when you go off the
And you probably saw it in the,
But I think the budget has been the same for years.
Yeah.
It should fluctuate a little bit.
There should be some movement.
what was it, all the villages had money taken away from them for a total of $7,831 is from the article that was in the hub. The towns, 1, 2, 3, 4 towns remained the same. That's us, Carlton, Clarendon, and Kendall. And for as long as I can remember, we've always remained the same. We've never increased, and we had none taken away. All the other towns had money, they had increases anywhere from $765 to $1,700. That was a total increase of the 7,831, which were taken away from the villages. So we want to look at their formula. How are they deciding who gets extra and who gets it taken away from them? Now, we don't want to see, by doing something like this, we don't want to see them, if you notice, like the county budget hasn't increased. Well, they're collecting all the sales tax money, they don't need to increase their budget. We don't want to, because if we get more money and they agree, okay, you can have all this money, extra money, but now they're gonna increase the county tax. We don't wanna see that happen, but if they're paying cash for a number of projects this year, then why can't we ask for some?
Yeah, and there's a huge difference between 9% and what, 16?
8 and 14,
14, that's a huge.
6 and
number to do.
14.
It's huge.
So that's something new that we're working on. I got another meeting coming up next week on that. And
Was the 14% passed into law, or was it just a memorandum, or? Of course, it was quite a while. I mean,
yeah,
obviously none of us were.
back in 1996.
I. History.
We are.
If
We're
went
working
apples
on
to
it.
apples,
And we're,
it'd be double.
Yeah. Yeah.
so that's something we're looking into and we want to push it. They put their budget together August, September. So we want to do it before then. So it could be, if we can come into agreement on it, implement it for 2024. We had Kim DeFrank, in fact, was in on the phone. She had called me at the time and I happened to be sitting with Dick Moy and come on, think.
Didn't tell.
Kendall. That's it, Tony. So, yeah, the three-
You know what names.
Three of us were sitting there yakking, and then she called in on my phone there, and so we got her in on the call. We talked about a number of things we have to still look at. A lot of questions coming up, yeah, and we'd like to go back to that 14%, like, which was originally formulated back in 96. Okay. So, the CNH contract, so I have that on the agenda for tonight. Here. I got the agendas here, I just haven't handed them out. You can see 2, 3, fall, and Dale catch. What? Oh, that's right. Number 4 is over here. I'll put those in the back of the room later. So I'd like to go over the CNH contract.
When did you send it? Now that Joe got done working on my computer.
Last week, and he's standing by. If we have any questions, we can call him. In fact, he's probably listening.
How come it doesn't? I'm just trying to scroll down.
Oh, there's that.
Mm-mm.
You understand?
No. It'll be-
I just ran off the attachment and didn't say when he sent it. There's a hard copy right here. You guys want to share it?
This here?
Good.
Just as convinced, yeah.
Yeah. I got my glasses, so I guess you can do that.
Numbers looking.
So Sean, I did see, so just for like clarification, we're all on the same page. He's proposing this to be a 3-year contract.
Correct.
And he did,
Yeah.
say, I know that he put that he is proposing $10 less per device. but that would only be, it looks like on the invoice, that would only be for the very first year. And it says special first year, after that, it's back up.
It says length of term, February 1st, 2023 to January 31st, 2026.
Then $50.
Oh, okay. Yes, he did. That is on here.
So,
And it was $50 before, so for the first year, it would be $950 less, and then in year 2 and 3, it would go back up to $950 per month, I'm sorry.
how
not
much
per
a
year.
month?
It was $950. Right now, he's talking $820.
So I went back through the CNHPC month. And the big one, we do have a couple big ones. There was a $7,871. That's a $7,000 server. That's not gonna go to this agreement. And
We would have to pay that no matter what
Yeah.
it is.
and then there was another one, the server setup, 2,472. That might be paid with this 950. And then we had a YouTube Lives, 1785. Would that be in this one?
If that would be one of those that fall under the device issuance licenses.
So that would be under the nine?
That would be,
It is 950.
that would be under the 950, yes.
Okay.
Which was, remember, we switched from one to YouTube.
Yeah.
Format to another.
Okay, so,
Is
but the
that
rest of the
wait,
months,
wait,
that was just a one-time.
That was a
thing.
one time, but what I'm saying is that is one of those examples that would have been covered under the $40 per unit times 13.
So.
That would
other
be a
than that,
blanket.
768. 871, $7,000 service. 904. But that was a piece of equipment too that was in that one, so it would have been that many. $29.98. 472, nothing in May. 170, 264. If you take the YouTube out, we're about 500. 314, 160, 249. So we're not even close to that monthly fee that it is.
Right.
Doing it the way we're doing it.
What I've got here also, we pay the bills separately or they are all included in the contract, and that is this here with the Microsoft Office 365 Exchange. That's a $1,050 bill if that will be covered by this, but otherwise we'll have to pay out of pocket if we don't go with the contract.
Yep.
And the other was off-site backups.
I don't
Okay. Let's get Joe on the phone.
I do also just want to say, and I don't mind saying this to Joe too, this has nothing, like, I think that they are providing us and have provided us with good service. That's not in question.
Hello, Joe. I got you on speaker here. Are you watching? Yeah.
Perfect.
Go ahead, Carrie.
I just was wondering, I know one of the that is in the, would be in the agreement is, off-site, backups services. And I was just curious, what, I mean, we just got the server and, just wondering, you know, it seems like it's a little bit of a duplication of efforts, or if we, Maybe should have looked at that last year instead of doing the server. Kind of like your thoughts on that.
Wasn't supposed to give you the ability to do things like that. It was to give you the ability to be secure internally and to better manage all of the data to have in a central location, and to better allow us to manage you. Feels like backup is to just secure your data to make sure that if your building burns up, we always have data for you. So that your databases for the clerk program, which is where you do all of your building out of, that is your databases for your fuel oil or fuel island program, that is all of the files that anybody creates there and saves on the server as well, because we've instructed everybody when you create something, you put it on the server. The server is backed up. We have it backed up to our Rockport location, and we have it backed up somewhere else. And in case of a disaster, we can also restore your server fully. We can restore the operating system, all the domain services that are included with it, and all of the data that is on it is a 100% backup.
Okay.
So that is for business continuity.
Right.
How much would that cost if we didn't go with the contract?
I think it was 380, maybe 400.
360, I got in front of me,
360 a year or a month?
and that's for 12 units.
A year?
We found over the year that people that they just don't want to make the call because they fear a charge coming. And we noticed that 9 out of 10 people do that, and they attempt to fix it themselves, attempt to fix it internally. It causes more problem, it costs the company more money to walk through. This is a way to make it so that if you need to call us, you call us. If you need to call us after hours, Dave is a prime example. He called us today after hours. You need help, you call us. You need us to come on site, you need us to work this for 10 hours. Doesn't have call us. And also, on top of that, it would include cybersecurity that we talked about in the past. It would include your backup. It would include your 365. It would include any other software we come up with in the future. I mean, I've already had one client in the doctor's office. They asked us for a secure email portal. That's if you're urban. We have another client another village who just spoke with this morning. And a couple of especially what we do this is that we're not urban. It's to offset that need of that we need to go and discuss the price first before we're able to introduce this new software, this new service that all of us really need. Yes. Which would include, it also would include your antivirus to make sure that you're secured. It includes your web hosting. It includes your domain renewal. So, I mean, it's pretty much like the all-in-one service. So where we don't have to constantly sell it or send you a bill if somebody calls and we need to get connected to the computer. Or even today, you guys had somebody there that used your streaming software, unplugged everything, didn't reconnect it. I had to sit on the phone with Sean and walk him through how to reconnect it all. No problem if you did nothing wrong, but because somebody else came in and messed with your stuff, and now cost the town money. So it's just a way to kind of offset that, to give you some peace of mind that if you need to call me, you can just call me.
Now, in this quote that you have also provided, two things. One, cybersecurity, which we have not implemented whatsoever yet. But if we were not to accept this contract, what would it cost for the cybersecurity package? Which we submit to the insurance company, which will help us with our insurance costs too, right?
Organization, because your talent and you see yourself in knowledge, but you still deal with confidential information. You still deal with, you know, proprietary information. Say Dale has an Excel spreadsheet on his computer that he's been creating for the last 10 years. While he decides he's quitting, he's taking that information with him. The security policy prevents that. Anything that is created on your information resources, unburied time, unburied equipment, it belongs to them. There's got to be policies in place to protect yourselves. No one cares about security until something happens. Nobody wants to talk about security until something happens. But when something happens, it's too late. In hindsight, it's 2020. We came up with this program simply because we were asked. We had a lot of people in 2020 when everything was going down, when Russia and China and cybersecurity was coming up. They really, really big. Our dealership came to us because by federal law, they are now required to have a cybersecurity program in place. We've had doctors' offices come to us that needed policies in place. They needed to have a BAA set up so that they know what information is being used and what it's being used for. I know it seems boring, and I know it seems really stupid and unnecessary because you are, you know, a big cow in a small cow ship, but it is necessary. I mean, on top of the cybersecurity, we would also be implementing phishing and training. So we have a company with 112 clients. They're a nonprofit, and we started a phishing campaign. Essentially, what we did is we simulated taking us 3 people, not only opened the email, they clicked the link and then logged in with their corporate account. Meaning, at that point, you essentially have to assume every single thing in your organization is now gone. Somebody has. We've had another client who saw he was emailing with their accountant, emailing back and forth. Come to realize he wasn't, and he ended up actually giving them access to everything. This client of ours deals with security numbers, deals with phone numbers, addresses, very confidential information. So cybersecurity can work. Townships get hit a lot. The federal government gets hit. Your government.
So. Do you, like, can we go through and, like, talk through each of these prices, like how much they are inside of the contract, how much they are outside of the contract?
So we actually if you pay for things individually, we make more money in the long run with between calls and each individual service than if you sign up for the contract.
So I went through, all I have is last year's data that I have.
Yeah,
So 1 year.
as much as
So going through, we had a $7,000 server that wouldn't be included because that's hardware, correct?
Yeah.
And then there was a large charge for a YouTube live stream. Is that a one-time a year, and would that be included?
that was the only time setup fee and would have been included.
Okay. But so the 17, The whole 1785 would have been included?
I have there should be
Okay.
and that would be
Okay, so yeah, the labor stuff for the 1785 would have been separate. So going through just last year's, what our expenses were in that, and working that out, it looks like we came to about 371, 375 a month. But, like you say, that didn't include the cyber and that, but if we price that out, I think we're still below that. What was it, 950 a
One-
month?
The one thing I want to point out, George, to remember that Joe, on the kindness of his heart, has done a lot of work for this town, and he hasn't charged us for it too. He's come in here and has worked on, remember when we had the mix and match monitors and everything else, and because they were donations, and him and his team were in here working, we didn't get charged for that stuff. So
hours.
he spent a lot of time in here, and that doesn't show up there, what he has basically donated to our town in labor.
That's why I think I'd have to go back the last couple of years and see where we're at. Cause all I got figured for the year.
Obviously, yes, we're company in the long run and corporation that wants to make money. That's not what we're talking about it because it is something that is just necessary as your technology needs to grow and to protect those needs. If you were still running I wouldn't even talk about it. But the fact that you're not, everything is online. I would even all the way down to the Dale again. He tried to so everything below everything top get on. You had you stuff can't get the pay less than but you have to bring up the responsibilities. Increased, so that's an email, we have to start charging. So we're gonna go out of business. So we can't do free labor anymore. So if you take into account any phone calls, anytime that you need us on site, we have to charge them.
Another question, I said I had two for you. Carrie had noticed this, I had not. And it's the first year pricing for $50 after the first year. It goes from 40 to 50. So the $40 isn't for the full length of the 3-year contract, is what you're saying then? Yeah, I've been watching, making sure it's getting picked up on the microphone here in front of me.
Nothing.
We can do it 3 year. If that would make everybody do it. We can do it 1 year and we can renegotiate it.
have another question. I know that I brought this up before in the email, and I guess that I'm a little bit still kind of confused because so the four of us have our laptops and we're using our laptops at home to, read through everything and follow up. But I know for me personally, a lot of my stuff is cloud-based that it's not getting saved onto this device. Actually, I think pretty much everything is being saved cloud-based. So say even if I had a house fire, I'm not gonna lose the information that's on this device. And right now, like even when I come in, I did just hop on and see if I could, and I can get to the printers and everything. But I've never backed up anything to the server. I've never done that, and I don't foresee the four of us utilizing those features. Is there a way that, we could do the 9 computers of the people who are in here working every day, doing things, do those 9 devices, and then the 4 laptops be on an as-needed basis of, the charges and that. I know that we would still have to pay for the, like, Microsoft 365 and the antivirus aspect. Is that something that would be doable?
So, this program gives us the ability to get access all the places and access to the devices to the network, to the servers so that we can better put out security on it. So, I mean, I would that we give laptops connected to the domain and using the correct software and the correct security. If you don't like being part of it, and that means technically involved in the cybersecurity program, then I would need to fully segregate those devices off of the network because I can't trust them.
But
Without having communications, without having to know what's going on. So say you're if you open an email on that computer and download something that you don't even know what happened, you don't see it, you now go into the township, connect to their wireless, and now affected their entire
okay, so you're saying connecting to the wireless. So if we connect to the wireless as guests, but we already have a separate guest. Like there's the most of the time. I think like my dad's computer and Dave, like they're currently are set up where they are attached to the guest computer, not to the guest Wi-Fi. I know that I'm not, but I'm saying I think that most of the time that is something, and I've never tried to connect to the printers before. I just was curious if I've even had that access. Okay.
You're saying that if someone comes to a meeting here and brings their laptop and they're hooked up to our Wi-Fi, are we at risk from their computer? I'm not, that's the problem, because that's scary. Because how many people are at our meetings, and if they actually, somebody, what we're worried about is somebody actually coming in and doing this, that's what we're spending all the money to protect against. They could easily come in here with their own computer, there's only gonna be 5, 6, 4, you got a 50% chance of hitting us that way. Yep.
With the cybersecurity package you're talking about, that is less likely to occur though, is it not?
Get an email and go, oh, I'm just gonna click on it, oh, download everything I've done in Cloud. Also, we're going to be doing penetration testing. Penetration testing is with an outside source. Essentially what it does, it will take your cameras and it will scan the IP address. You know, it's going to essentially get into your system. Same thing we just talked about. It can scan before that it's more, it can scan before that's development. And that's what that helps it allow us to begin cleaning up and cleaning.
If we paid for the big bucks on that without the contract, including labor, what are we looking at ballpark for the year? 2,400. That includes the labor.
Now, going back to Carrie's question about the 4 board members, they're using their laptops at home. When they come in here, if they were to use the town Wi-Fi, not the guest Wi-Fi, then that would do any updates, do any scanning? So how can we, so that's the only way to secure theirs. If they have a question, then they can call from home and you have the ability, like through your old CNH PC helpline. Okay.
I know on the back of the key to the something. We have 5. We have just peace of mind and anything to have. And we're just a little behind.
But if we didn't, if we didn't. Any of the-
$1,050. Microsoft 365 Exchange Online, is that it? Offsite backup, I'm sorry, I got it right here. Total of $480. $500, you know.
And then, so for this year, we already have paid that 1,050, or that, we haven't paid that one.
No,
It's okay, okay. Yep.
so if we accept this is 3-year contract, then these two I can throw out because they'll be included in that 3-year contract. $820, yes. Okay,
Would it be easier for you, Joe, if, we had a, paid ahead and you had like a pot that you could, we'd already paid ahead and pull out, so people wouldn't be worried about. Okay. Okay.
That's fine.
I can see, yeah, I can see the problem in that you're gonna have people say, well, we already put that money in, I thought that was part of it, it's a real gray area. It's just, I think it'll just make it ugly overall. I had a problem with the mouse, and you got right on the line, in the middle, picks me up.
okay.
So, I guess I'm still struggling a little bit, though, just to be honest. So, if we're at the 820 a month, we're looking at $9,840 a year for the services. And, right. Right. And if I go through and do, what is your hourly rate for labor if we were to? Okay. So, if we were to not do that, I have that we would, if the cybersecurity would be $2,400 a year. The Microsoft 365 or emails and Outlook would be $1050 a year. Then the backup server would be $500. And then with that, I have another $500 written here. What am I missing? Yeah, okay. For the year. Yep.
Website. Website.
So I had all that in my, in last year, again, it's only 1 year. That and labor and everything we did, it's about the server. I got like 8,400. So we're still below the 1940. That's with the extra services. That's with the extra, but that gives us that, you know, like you say, you can call whenever and we're gonna be here all the time, but I kind of like to see us get used to this and not have to call you at all. I'd like to see that 4,000 number go down that we used last year, but I don't know where we were 2-3 years ago, so. Okay. Okay. I had 1 year to go by. I didn't look at 2 years, the months before that. But we should be getting better. Yeah, I agree with you on that. I'm just thinking it's gonna be, from the numbers that I'm pushing here, that, you know, might be better for the town financially. Right.
Right, it would be, if, like, charging properly, and we would have 50 hours for the year of support. Cause it's, so, 4,225, minus the 9,840. It's 5,600, so 56 divided by 100, 56 hours.
is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What we're billing for water and taxes.
Also, they did do a lot of setup. It's a long situation. They never started.
They do assist Maureen with the court system, yes.
How do we make, if we agree to the service agreement, how do we make sure that everybody does that every year? And that we maximize, you know, so that we keep our computers doing well and,
That's what I was
maximize
gonna
the
ask, is training included in that service agreement? For everybody?
Okay, guys, we gotta wrap this up because we have a board meeting that's supposed to start in 2 minutes. Sorry, Joe. Okay. Joe, thank you very much for the time you've. If we don't approve this, you putting this on our bill for this month? Take care. Bye.
My guys have access to that computer when they stake out, I'm out of time. Doing something else. Emergency stakeout comes in, they need to do that. There's some training that could be done with those for. I mean, I'm not saying that I could use the training either. I don't know why
Gary?
that's doing that.
Gary?
Yeah.
Are you bumping anything underneath the table there?
That's no.
Cause the controls for all the microphones and that speaker right there, are right there at your knees. Okay. That's never clicked like that before, so I don't know why. Okay. Real quick that we're gonna have to talk about. The CNH contract, the investment policy, which I sent out to everybody, and there was only that minor change insofar as, two of the banks, one we dropped, one we added. And, oh, your 284, Dale's 284, which we have to sign every year. So, I'm going down these agendas. Everybody wants to take a break. I am gonna close out the workshop. Mouse, where are you? Oh, it's here, it's just.
Did anybody else take the?
No, that's not mine.
Oh, okay.
That's it, right.
The stop streaming.
That agenda's been-
Yeah.